Namaste. Hello. It's lovely to connect with you today. My name is Leanne Peters. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to share some healing guidance actually. I was inspired to be here. So I'm coming to you live from Tasmania, Australia. It is currently Saturday the 2nd of June and the exact time is 8:28 p.m. I don't usually come to you this time of the day or night, but I am today. So hello. Hi Tanya. Hi Abhishek. I trust I pronounced your name correctly. Namaste to you. Hi Grace and Kieran and Keita and Sue. Alison's here. Namaste to you too, Alison. Thanks for stopping by. Hi Debbie and Belinda. It's lovely to see you all. So I'm here to create a space of healing. It's been an interesting day. The last couple of days I've been breathing in these lung irritants, which had taken their toll today. So I've just been doing lots of purging. My voice is a bit funny today because I am a bit wheezy and a bit asthma-y as my body just gets rid of this stuff that I've been breathing in. So I have been a bit not in a low space. No, I've just been resting. I've just been laying low today. So I haven't been inspired to really do much, let alone share some guidance for the weekend. So this evening I've got a bit of a burst of energy and I was toying up the idea, do I share some guidance for the weekend? You have to excuse me if I start coughing because my lungs are a little bit irritated. So I was just, feeling on what was the best thing to sit with you and create today during this space. And the only thing, there was not even really much doubt. I just felt I had to be here to create a space of healing. So we can think of this perhaps as guidance for Saturday. But it's going to be very much an energetic space that's created. You may have seen, can you see, I've got a drum here. So I do intend to play the drum at some point. I've also got my healing energy cards that I'm going to work with today. So basically I'm here, instead of sharing guidance like I typically do when I'm looking at guidance for Thursday and Friday or what have you, this is a healing space that's been created for now. I'm going to pull a healing energy card around whatever our focus needs to be. And I'm feeling a really strong energy coming through of purging and cleansing and releasing. So I kind of wouldn't be surprised if that's sort of an avenue that we go down with this connection today. So I'm just going to trust and flow with what feels right and what inspires me and to create this space for us all. I trust that you've been led here for a reason, and I trust something shared or some energy that's created or generated will be helpful and supportive for you today. I really do trust that there's something timely about this. So maybe you've been struggling a little bit at the last few hours. Maybe there's something really important that needs to come through with this sharing. So I don't know what that might be, and I might not ever know, but I'm just going to trust that I need to be here. So I am. So how are you doing anyway? I trust that you're feeling good. Hi Canty Devi, lovely to see you, and Raven and Tracy and Kieran sending me healing love. Sending you healing love, my dear. Oh, thank you. That's beautiful. And Depali, is it? Depali, namaste to you. I see we've got quite a few people from India watching right now, so big waves to you. Hi, Flora. Alison says that works for me. And hi, Basim. Basim, maybe? Sorry, I'm probably not pronouncing your name correctly. I'm not very good with other languages, as you've probably realised already. So I'm first of all, to create this space, I'm going to pull a healing energy card for now. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for the best card in regards to what we need to know at this time to create or talk about or proceed with this healing space. Now, you might not like the word healing space. For you may want to change it to something else, like a space of support, a space of connection, a space of love. Growth is another great word that I sometimes use instead of the word healing. So just take a really nice deep breath, and if you have the time now, I trust that you can spend this time with me here. If you can't, then come back and watch the replay later if you're inspired to. So we're going to go with this card for now. That's the most helpful for the majority of us, I trust. Here. Card 5, called Self-Acceptance. And I'm going to read these messages, these words down here, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about this card. It says, assistance with weight loss, emotional baggage, blocked creativity, and stagnant sexual energy. And really we can say stagnant any energy. Anything that we're holding on to, anything that we're stuck with, anything that's not moving, we're holding on to that. So there's, and this has kind of been coming up a little bit today, which is why I'm kind of honing in on it, is this stagnant energy, this energy where we're not allowing ourselves to move on. We might not be allowing ourselves to see the truth in a situation. So we might be ignoring it, or we might be pushing it aside and distracting ourselves with something else. So we're really being encouraged to look at what's stuck within us and what's stuck within our life, because we're going to be doing some releasing. I can feel it. It also says true acceptance of self, stomach area healing, and the sacral and solar plexus chakras. So this was one of the test healing energy cards that I drew over 10 years ago. This deck's birthday this month, 10 years. So probably about 11 years ago is when I drew this, and this was part of my test with these cards to see how, excuse me, to see how helpful they can be in shifting energy. I actually drew this to help support people losing weight. But it's not just about that, is it? It's about accepting who we are and perhaps looking at our eating or exercise habits that may not be healthy for us, and making a shift in those areas so that we can accept or make the changes that are necessary. So with that stuff aside, let's look at this from a self-acceptance perspective. What are we dealing with right now that we're struggling to accept as true, or struggling to accept as real or right or happening for us at this time? To me, I find acceptance much more beneficial than forgiveness. For me, I find forgiveness a little bit fleeting, a little bit airy. I find acceptance much more, personally, this is just me and just sharing some thoughts. You may agree, you may not. I'm here to help expand your perceptions, if you like, if you're open to that. I find acceptance helps me get on with my life. It helps me actually step away from something, or step through something, or past something. That's probably a good word. Past something that has challenged me or has tested me in some way. So when I find a real sense of acceptance, and this is something that I genuinely feel in my heart, then I know that I've moved past whatever that issue is, and I can then move forward with my life. So there's a kind of a sense here to me that I'm really feeling drawn to that stagnant energy that I talked about, and acceptance. And perhaps there's something that's going on maybe for you, or maybe not for you, but perhaps there is something that you've been feeling stuck with, that you're being called to find a way to accept that, hey, this is how it is now, or hey, I need to make a change here. What do you need to accept about something that you're feeling stuck with in your life? There's a lot of emotional energy in this card. It really does bring our focus back to the sacral chakra, which is just below our navel. That's our center for emotional, sexual, and creative energies. So it's bringing an emotional connection too back into, okay, how can we really truly feel acceptance so that we can continue to move forward in our life? So if there's something you're stuck with, does that energy of acceptance fit in? If you sit back now or later upon reflection and you reflect on this stagnant part of your life, and you sit with the energy of acceptance and you feel, okay, how can I accept this situation? It's really difficult when things happen that we don't want to happen in our life. Like I know for me, when I learnt a huge lesson about acceptance was when one of our young family members had a terrible motorbike accident, was in a coma for a month and then passed away. And it was really difficult to accept that he'd gone, because it's not something, it's very difficult to see how things are going to turn out when you just want someone to be better and be okay. This was 10 years ago or so, but I remember when I was grieving that loss and really angry and really struggling to find to come to terms with that particular situation, I realized that the one thing that was holding me back was that I was struggling to accept that this had happened, because I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want it to have happened. So sometimes we are faced with things in our life that we just don't want to happen. But they've happened and we can't turn back the clock. Things change in life. We go through cycles. Things evolve. Things change. And sometimes we just have to do our best to accept and flow with that change, rather than trying to go back, scramble back in time to a time when that person was still there or that situation hadn't changed like it has today. So acceptance is a big one, but it is that big step, isn't it, in allowing ourselves to move forward and to get on with our life in many different instances. So that's what I want to talk about with this card, and I'm just going to sit it here in front of me and I'm going to take a drink. So, did any of that stand out? Excuse me. Did any of that stand out for you? And if it did, how can you use that information? Can you journal about it? Can you reflect upon it? Can you contemplate what stood out for you and what you can further consider and reflect upon to help you move forward and to help you let go, perhaps, or find acceptance? So, I'm going to get ready to play the drum. To play the drum means I need to move my microphone. As you'll know, if you watch sometimes, the drum and the microphone don't go very well together. So what I'm going to do is just say a few things, and then I'm going to pin my microphone onto my smudge bowl and gently, very gently, place it somewhere far away so that I can drum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this hoop drum. So I'm going to hold it and drum. This can also be called a shamanic drum or a medicine drum. So I'm just going to hold the space with the drum. Excuse me. So I won't be talking, obviously, because I won't have my microphone here. But what I'm going to be doing is drumming to help you or support you with what you need right now. So there might be something that was said that's sparked something in you that you want to reflect on as I drum. Perhaps for you, you've realised that there's something that you are stagnant with, or something that you're holding on too tightly to, or something that you realise that you have to find a way to find acceptance with this particular situation. So I want to drum and hold you in that space. I also want to use the drum to help us all, if we're inspired to release and let go of whatever might be holding us back. So you can't do anything wrong as I'm drumming, just listen at the very least. Take some deep breaths. Let the sound of the drum touch you in places of your body. Let it stir things up. Let it bring things to the surface so that you can let them go and move forward. If you want to take this drumming experience deeper, then just sit with the beat of the drum and allow yourself to drop deeper into thought, or move or go through a bit of a vision that you create yourself. Visualize yourself letting go, or whatever you might need to do. So trust in yourself. Trust in what feels right for you as you connect with the drum. And I trust that you enjoy this connection. If you have been struggling and this is a very timely thing for you, and a lot of what I shared makes a lot of sense for you right now, you might find that you get quite emotional as you hear the drum. That's really normal. So just let yourself weep those tears. Hold yourself in a space of support as you let yourself release emotionally or physically or mentally as you let go. You might want to repeat an affirmation like, I am willing to let go. I am willing to change my attitude, to change my thought patterns, to change who I am. So just some things perhaps to think about. So I trust that you enjoy our time together, and all is well. So, okay, I am going to unpin my microphone and create this space. I trust that, if you don't like this, just go and do something you love, and we'll hold this space for each other, those of us who do want to be here. So I'm just putting the microphone away. Enjoy. Night. Thank you. I was just saying good night to my son who just walked past. Saying good night. Whew, I trust that you feel a bit better after that drumming time. There was certainly a lot of, a bit of a mixed bag really of stuff that I was feeling. A lot of stuff being released and sort of, what's the best word to use? Like purifying perhaps, or cleansing from our bodies, like we're standing under a waterfall and allowing all that old stuff that we've been carrying to be carried away and taken away as we let it go. So lots of letting go, and also lots of beautiful energy coming in, nurturing and supporting us during this time. Allowing us, or not allowing, holding the space for us as we go as fast or as slow as we need to with our releasing and our moving forward. Excuse me. Sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves, that we're taking too long, that we're not going fast enough. So, I felt this patience, this just holding space for us with the drum, this patient nurturing, reminding us that it's okay. Sometimes things take a bit longer than other times. So just because we're dealing with something a bit slower than perhaps we have before doesn't mean we're doing something wrong. Every situation, every issue, every challenge we go through calls a different part of ourselves forward. And often, even if we've been doing a lot of this kind of stuff for a long time, a lot of us are dealing with very new emotions and new issues that are coming up that we haven't dealt with before. So let's be patient with ourselves. Let's stop putting pressure on ourselves to, hey, let's get over this. And let's just, allow it to be what it needs to be. So that's the card I was drumming to, self-acceptance. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull another card that represents our forward movement from here. So what we need to know about what's next, what might be a good focal point to help us continue to shuffle forward. It doesn't matter if our steps forward are shuffles. Sometimes it's just like a shuffle. Sometimes it's like we're taking big leaps and all sorts of different size steps in between. So as long as we're making it even just a little bit of progress, then we're going the right direction. Can we really go backwards? I don't feel we can. I feel we can only ever walk forwards. So I guess the question is, it's coming back down to what I said right at the very beginning. If we're stuck, we're not really making any steps forward. So if we're feeling stuck, what can we do to get things moving again, even if it is in a shuffle? Perhaps something to think about if you've been dealing with stagnant or a stuck feeling. Remember, the energy just wants to move, and as we honour and listen to how we feel, our feelings are going to help us move forward, because feelings just want to be in motion. So when we deny ourselves a feeling because we don't want to go there, it's too intense, we don't like this feeling, then we're kind of resisting the feeling, which creates a stagnant space. If we can listen to the feeling for what it is, work our way through it, we'll come out the other side into a new feeling. Our feelings, they just kind of roll and flow if we let them. So anyway, I'm looking for the best card, excuse me, for our forward movement from here. So what's next for us? What might be a good focal point for us now after we've done that bit of energy work? We're going to go with this Cellular Change, card 37. I'm going to read this information here and then we'll talk a bit more about it. It says, love, healing on a cellular level, union, merging, wholeness, complete, galactic connections, anchoring love, change, the new, truth, and heaven, or we could replace heaven with high vibrations, into your body and your life now. You are ready. So you are ready to step forward and take your life by the horns, if you like, to take charge of the steering wheel again, to get back in the driver's seat of your life, to start creating a new story for yourself, to find a way to find acceptance or learn the lesson that needs to be learned from the old story that might be holding you back. So as you find acceptance and the lesson in that for you, how has that helped you today? How has that helped you become a better person today, that experience? Then you'll find acceptance so that you can then step back into the driver's seat of your life. Now, this card also talks about change on very deep levels in our body. So our cells, the very DNA of our body is changing, and it has been for quite a few years. And it's changing more rapidly as the years get on. We are changing so quickly these days. Who we are today is so much different to who we were back in January. And if we can sit in that space of now and sit in that space of January, we may feel like two completely different people. And it was only a few short months ago. So the evidence is there that we're changing. We might not be looking much different unless we're going through a bit of an aging process. But hey, we all go through that, don't we? It's part of the journey of living in this human body. But, we may not see it necessarily on a physical level, but feel it inside. That change is not just about what we see in our life. It's not just about physical change. The one thing I love about healing work and my own self-healing journey that I've been on is noticing when a reaction that I've had, or an irritation or a fear that has been a big part of, or some part of my life in the past, when I suddenly don't have that anymore, then I know I've moved through something. So for example, I used to have this massive fear of fire, like big time. The thought of fire, I used to wake up as a child, nightmares about fire. It didn't help living in my father was a police officer when I was growing up, and he was the police officer of this town that was a bit feral, as he liked to call it. And it wasn't uncommon every week or every other week to hear the fire siren going off down at the local fire station and look out the bedroom window and see a house burning down, on the other side of the valley. So, all that sort of stuff just triggered my fear of fire. And then when I first started my healing journey, so back in around the year 2000, I was exploring that fear. And I had this vision of me being burned to death and dealing with that and feeling all the feelings that came up with that, the anger of that, and then letting it go. And then I noticed slowly, as I started paying attention, hey, I don't have that same feeling about fire anymore that I used to have. The thought of being cremated just made my skin curl before then, and now it doesn't bother me. So I love that about our healing journey, is when these fears and beliefs and our attitudes and issues, the irritations that we carry, and we think that's part of our personality or part of our character or just part of who we are, we can't change that. That's when those things change, that's when I know that we're making really great progress with our healing. When we can shift how we feel about something that we used to be so scared about and not feel that fear anymore, then we know we're making progress. So we are changing. Things are changing for us inside. We are breaking down who we thought we were and recreating who we want to be now. So there's a lot of deep changes that are taking place at this time. And as far as the reason why I pulled this card, which was, what do we need to know about our forward movement from here? What's next? What might be a good focal point for next? First of all, the words perhaps stand out for you, that you are ready. I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready to find a way to accept this situation. I'm ready to unstick myself from feeling stagnant and stuck and getting things moving again by listening to how I feel and flowing with that feeling, writing about it in my journal, feeling my way forward. I love those words, and I often come back to them if I forget and I get too caught up in my headspace. I'll stop and remind myself, hey, remember to feel your way forward. When you feel your way forward, you're moving in those steps, the shuffles or the big steps forward. If you're not feeling, you're going to feel stuck. So you're ready for what's next. Changes are occurring for you, so just keep doing what you're doing if they feel right for you. And trust that things are changing. A lot of people say, I hope they're changing for the better. How couldn't they? Is there any other option? They have to change for the better. Even if something changes and creates a challenge, it has to be for our betterment, doesn't it? In the long term, it has to be. How could things change for the worse? I've never seen anything change for the worse, even things that I struggle to accept. Once I accept them and I see, okay, that's might be why that happened for me, to help me live more of my life, to help me make some changes in my life so that I can really participate in my life more fully, then that change was not for nothing. So all changes have to be for the good, in some way. So just some thoughts. Take on board what feels right. Let the rest go. They're just thoughts, hopefully to help you see things from a different perspective, or to further think about things that you've been thinking about or dealing with to help you get things moving. You don't have to remain stuck and in a challenging space forever. So how can you take some steps to get things moving? So I've used my healing energy cards. These are celebrating 10 years this month. 2008, they came out in June, which is so exciting. So, excuse me, you'll see a lot more of those around this month. And they are actually on sale this month too. So have a look on my website if you'd like to start working with them. So thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed the video and our time together, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you want to connect more privately, just send us a message through our website. Excuse me. Okay, if you just joined in, I've inhaled some lung irritant and my lungs aren't very happy this last day or so. And I don't think I've talked this much all day. So they're feeling a bit agitated. So I'm actually going to go and get ready for bed. So thanks for joining me today. I really do trust you've enjoyed our time together. And I look forward to connecting with you again real soon. So thank you, and sending you lots of love from my heart to yours. Thank you and namaste. And if you do want to learn more about my work, please visit my website at templeofbalance.com.au. So thank you and good night and namaste.